Hello, I'm Anushka Sengupta from Impact Magazine, and we have with us today Mr. Amit Syngle, who's the MD and CEO of Asian Paints. Amit, happy to have you here.
Thank you.
So, Amit, tell us what prompted this shift from luxury paint to home decor and decor first, full decor experience with Royal Glitz.
So overall, what we feel is that every home has a story to tell, and
Right.
Asian Paints being a color authority, we could put a real voice to it in terms of what every home speaks about. So that was the genesis in terms of what we said, that we give fuel to the whole area of Har Ghar, in terms of how we look at, in terms of emotions being very strong part of the whole area of when people make homes, and their personality reflecting in each of the rooms in terms of how it comes live to that extent. So the
Right.
whole area which we took was the inspiration of saying that we have Royal Glitz, which is a creme de la creme finish kind of a zone, and that finish really becomes the instigator and the inspiration in terms of fueling the decor for other walls in terms of to go at. So it indirectly it becomes centric
Right.
to the design, but really the whole area of decor on walls is uninterrupted in the way it kind of fuels it.
Right. Also, what was the creative strategy behind making Walls the Star with Deepika Padukone?
So first of all, see, Deepika has been with us for more than a decade now, and I
Right.
think what she blends in it is that she brings in an element of global luxury, grace, sophistication, what she does over a period of time, and she's coming back after a little bit of a gap to that extent. So therefore, what she packs in is a little bit of nostalgia, a little bit of this fresh kind of energy which she brings onto the film in terms of looking at her own self-expression and catering to the brand aspirations to that extent. And therefore, what we wanted to really do is that use that lineage and use that kind of a personality, so that we could kind of shield the whole thing of saying that how finishes can play a very big role in terms of inspiring the whole decor of
Right.
a home to that extent. So we used her as basically an epitome of one who kind of uses her self-expression, gets inspired from the finish, and she's looking at really going from room to room, really putting decor on the various walls which comes in, which are textures and wallpapers, which really sink in with the core concept of the Royal Glitz finish which comes in.
Right. You've also come up with a lovely TVC campaign. So, if you can tell us what went behind in terms of the creative conceptualization of the ad and how do you plan to promote it?
So first of all, when we saw the entire script, we wanted to be very clear what is going to be the proposition to the consumer which comes in. The proposition was very clear that today Royal Glitz finish is centric to kind of inspire people to use other walls in terms of adorning different kinds of decor which comes in. We used basically an idea that today can we facilitate this visualization far more easily, and therefore we used the entire concept of the Glitz decor book to that extent, and that is a book which possibly gives you ideas that from the finish to wallpapers and textures, how you can kind of put your self-expression to kind of shape as you go ahead. So the idea was very clearly, as part of the creative, seed the tool which kind of comes in, so that people become an easy access to this doing it. And what we used as the whole concept was, we used Deepika very strongly in terms
Right.
of what we could get connotations of luxury, connotations of being sophisticated. At the same time, someone who's using her self-expression in decorating her home. And finally, as basically as part of the creative, we were very clear that it is she who's kind of really imagining the walls coming alive, seeing that she is kind of invigorated by the Royal Glitz finish, how it comes about. And the whole creative is about her self-expression, seeing across the rooms, and how people can get awed by what is the final outcome which can come in. So that was
Right.
the basic creative thinking which went around in terms of really inspiring people to do up their homes with not only Royal Glitz, but also with a whole range of adjacencies in terms of wallpapers, textures, etc.
Right. Also, what kind of revenue growth target are you chasing with this decor first pivot for Royal Glitz?
So what we see is that we need to rekindle people's mind in terms of thinking that beyond just putting, just rich finishes, and which finishes which kind of bring your expression. We can look at really adorning homes with lot many areas of decor, which is wallpaper and textures. So what we feel is that not only this fuels the basic consumption and the revenue which it brings to the Royal Glitz, it kind of really elevates the entire world of Royal overall,
Right.
which is fairly big for us. And not only that, I think it lends credence to all the areas which are there, from textures to wallpapers to whatever expressions which we can use in terms of looking at bringing all the color excitements which are there in our portfolio. So I think in a way it energizes the whole portfolio, gives us strong growth in terms of revenues, not only from the point of view of finishes, but also all elements of decor.
Right. Also, how do exclusive designer collaborations like with Sabyasachi helps reinforce the aspirational pull for a brand like Royal Glitz?
So in a way, when you get Sabyasachi in, one is the real awe of really owning a Sabyasachi wall, which
Right.
is tremendous, which comes in. But the whole underlying thing there is that, can you look at democratizing luxury to a little bit to that extent? So it's about a wall which you have always saying, hey, I own a Sabyasachi wall, possibly to that
Absolutely.
extent. I might not own a Sabyasachi lehenga, but I own a Sabyasachi wall, which is a great feeling which kind of comes in. It also becomes a turning point for people to really encapsulate their home into something very different, which becomes designer. It becomes a social talk. It becomes
Absolutely.
an expression which people are able to kind of really take it overall and show it in terms of what their home means to them to that extent. So overall, we feel that basically such alignments are working in terms of giving excitement to the people in terms of what are the possibilities. At the same time, it is also elevating the brand into a very different space, which stands for luxury, stands for sophistication. At the same time, looking at democratization of luxury in a very strong way.
Right. Also, competitors are ramping up capacity and ad spends. What is your competitive mode today?
So we are very clear that competition has always been there. I think we always find that in the industry there is no impediment to competition. Competition will come, but I think it's always great that competition comes and really gives us more opportunity to do lots of areas in terms of what we can go and go ahead with. First of all, what we see is our positioning is very different in terms of what we are appropriating. Our positioning is one on emotional. Second, it looks at in terms of appropriating decor and really owning up the homes.
Right.
Most of the competition speaks about the functional attributes of the paint in terms of coming from stain, elongation, and so many things to that extent. Ours is a very emotional attachment in terms of what we make, and that is something which we are increasing the moat in terms of looking at how we really get people related to this emotion, that we can get people connected to Asian paints far more strongly. So one of the biggest
Right.
strategy is that as you go ahead, increase the brand saliency, look at basically an ownership to the trusted legacy of Asian paints in terms of what comes into that extent. The
Okay.
second area which we have looked at is quality, which we have kind of really reinforced the entire quality by putting a lot many ingredients. So whether it is a graphene into the paint, or whether it is a Teflon which is there, or a PU serum, we have really elevated the quality so that we stand on a very differentiated pedestal overall
Right.
from the point of view of our product positioning and the quality we deliver. And the third area is innovation. I think that has been one plank which will continue to excite the market. We have introduced so many new products. We introduced a product right now, AeroClean, which kind of cleans the environment. We have a product
Okay.
which is Infinia, which looks at 25-year warranty for terrace waterproofing to that extent. We have a product which is called Nilaya Arc, which is the first lime-based, organic kind of a paint which comes into that extent. And we are embracing the whole area of super luxury also coming very strongly, so that today we are a differentiated brand which has an emotional linkage, at the same time standing on a plank of innovation going ahead.
So it's not just luxury or premium anymore, it's super luxury or super premium that you
Absolutely,
are betting big on.
that's right.
Right. Also, your Q1 saw a dip in net profit year on year. So, where do you see the pressure and how do you plan to reverse it?
So as an organization, we are very clear that we would like to kind of invigorate the environment in terms of looking at that there is obviously more consumption of paint. As a leader, I think that is something which we are looking at, not only appropriating more and more surfaces, we are also looking at appropriating the share of space within the homes in terms of going forward. At the same time, what we are also looking at is we are investing a lot from a point of view of retailing, so that we can look at visualization of the customer getting better, even in terms of the smaller towns. So we have huge amount of retailing formats which we are pushing, so that we can get possibly access on the premium and luxury paints, where possibly as we go ahead the margins are better in terms of what we get. So that is one strategy in terms of what we are looking at. The second strategy is that we are appropriating the whole pillar of cost excellence, where we would like to look at better formulation efficiencies, better procurement because of the scale in terms of what we are looking at, better productivity in terms of going forward. And that becomes another big plank which kind of generates literally a war chest for us in terms of how we can look at fighting competition in terms of going forward, and even looking at investing in lot many of our areas which we are looking as new. And to kind of just add Philip to that, we have got into backward integration in terms of looking at making some of the raw materials which are core to the industry. Like we have now put up a plant for white cement, we are now putting up a plant for VAM-VA, which is the future emulsion in terms of what we see. I think those are all initiatives which would possibly give us a very big credence in terms of creating this war chest for future, for newer initiatives, and to really kind of stay ahead of competition.
Right. Your home decor segment has also witnessed a degrowth in Q1. So what is your corrective plan for this segment?
So as we see it, I think the overall industry has been a little bit on a downtrend in terms of what we have seen, and this is something which has been seen for the last 2-3 quarters to that extent. I think as we kind of go ahead, we are revitalizing more innovations and more design things which we are bringing. For example, we have just kind of launching a new version of kitchens which is coming, which is inspired on Italian kitchens to that extent. We are looking at newer kind of coatings for bath products in terms of what we have, new designs in our white teak lighting, which we are today leaders in terms of decorative lighting to that extent. Similarly, in terms of wallpapers, embracing a lot of international collections along with basically Sabyasachi and certain inherent collections like ink and all what we have to that extent. So I think again we are kind of trying to excite the consumer so that we can get more consumption which comes in. At the same time, we have been working very strongly with architects and designers so that we can fuel their imagination much more in terms of leading to decor consumption. For instance, this entire store of Nilaya anthology which we have set is something which is very different. Across the world you will not find such an experience which is like
I've taken a tour, it's a lovely experience.
It's like
in itself.
an international design center. It is also as I see it, a microcosm for looking at immersive and celebratory experiences which people can get on art, design and culture. So I think these are areas where we are looking at a confluence of decor and luxury and international design coming very strongly together so that we can really fuel the imagination of designers, architects in terms of looking at more and more decor consumption other than just the basic coatings and finishes in terms of what we get into the market.
Right. Also, how is your loyalty platforms and influencer strategies evolving to fuel the aspirational engagement in a luxury segment?
So when we look at, today there are various kind of stakeholders which are very important. The first stakeholder is obviously the retailer, where we think that today with the second gen coming in at the retailer level, we are fueling the relationships by working more in terms of giving them progressive technologies, by giving them possibly retailing outlets which they can show and show a differentiated proposition to the consumer to that extent, giving them quality which they cannot really imagine in terms of what's coming, giving them new products which again they can excite the market. So I think that's one part where we look at fueling the retailers, especially from a point of view of pre-lux and super luxury kind of a zone which comes in. Second, when we look at the whole area of applicators, I think that's another very big area where we have today loyalty programs which are very strong and skewed towards possibly using things like Royale Glitz and our Ultima range of products which are the premium products which are there, and also towards the Nilaya set of ranges which are the super premium, super luxury spaces which are coming to that extent. So loyalty programs which possibly aligns on the short term and the long term and creates that loyalty which comes in, along with the fact that we have got about 23 color academies now across the country, where we look at continuous training and scope enlargement of the contractors, so that they become very strong source, that they are not only incentivized, but they are also learning from us as they kind of go forward. So that's the second area. And third is the architect designers, which is the third leg of the stakeholders, where again I said that we do events like color and material intelligence, the decor trends of the year, the color of the year, the wallpaper of the year. We have retailing outlets like Nilaya Anthology, where we are inviting these people, and that becomes a very source of great inspiration for them, because you are enlarging their view, and it is not about only telling them about a range or a product to that extent. What you are going in terms of the areas which are beyond design, so that we can excite them and they can relate to the brand far more strongly.
Right. For Royal Glitz and also for your Nilaya anthology, what is the target audience and how are you tapping there?
So when we look at Nilaya Anthology, as I said, this is a super luxury destination. It is international design. It has basically a confluence of design from artisans, craftsmanship to something which is possibly international design, how it kind of comes in.
Right.
So the audience here is obviously, one is the HNI segmentation which is there in terms of attracting the right set of people here. We look at the top 200 families in India in terms of what we can look at in terms of inviting. The whole area of looking at people, HNIs like celebrities who would kind of really come and see in terms of really spending, because we find that today in second homes which are coming, people are spending 30 to 40 crores on doing up their villas to that extent.
Right.
It becomes a very big source in terms of looking at it. We are also looking at people who are kind of going today to Europe or other parts of the world to kind of really do their shopping for the home to that extent, and therefore really create possibly a Milan here in terms of saying that people come in and really shop here, and it's a destination which people love to kind of really shop to that extent. Apart from this, I think the top 200 to 300 architect designers of the country is something which we are inviting here for events, for basically workshops in terms of what we are doing, and creating an aspiration that this site type of stakeholders should kind of align with us very strongly, so that we can offer them something different and really widen their scope of thinking about design and decor the way we see it. So that is the way in terms of we are looking at the whole segmentation of this whole anthology space.
Right. Also, how do you decide the marketing to sales ratio for a luxury brand like Glitz?
So obviously there are no set paradigms and set formulas for that. It depends on the category in terms of what you kind of look at it. So as far as the luxury decor category is concerned, the ratio of really marketing, and that also from a point of view of below the line marketing in terms of setting retailing spaces like this, is very, very high. And the return which kind of really happens is possibly over a 2 to 4 year period kind of a thing to that extent. But it is important that you set the context, because this is not about above the line advertising. This is about experience. And therefore, as the super luxury category is concerned, the whole experiential zone is very, very important, which is obviously high investment, but over a period of time, it gives you basically super high results as well in terms of the ROA you get.
Right. 5 years down the line, how do you envision Asian Paint's role in Indian homes? And will it be product driven? Will it be design driven? Will it be experience driven, or all combined?
So obviously, I think that's a no-brainer for us, because what we are doing first is that we are looking to appropriate homes very, very strongly. We moved into the whole concept of the whole share of surface, the share of space within the home to that extent. We are talking of looking at being a part of the decor life cycle of the consumer. So right from the first rented home to the first owned home to the renovation to the second home to the kids' home, we would like to be part of the entire life cycle of the customer to that extent. And there is where possibly our role of the brand which comes in, which is very strong in terms of how do we keep on appropriating not only quality finishes, but also from the point of view of adjacencies which come in terms of texture, wallpaper, and the whole paraphernalia around in terms of creating a space decor, which becomes really aspirational in terms of what we create. So in the end, I think if you can be part of this whole decor life cycle of the customer, that is something which is our ultimate goal in terms of going ahead.
Right. Amit, it was lovely talking to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.